Hi friends, welcome to your 20-minute daily stretch for all levels. This is a full body stretch meant to help you release tension and increase overall flexibility. This is a quick and effective flexibility practice that would be perfect to fit into your daily routine. We're going to start standing tall in the mountain pose, lifting up to our center, standing tall, and stepping out into a wide leg position with our toes pointed outwards towards the front two corners of our mat. We're going to bend our elbows and knees and extend, moving through our moonflower flow. Bending our knees and elbows and extending. We're just warming up our body here, getting our muscles ready for some deeper stretches. Bending and extending, moving at our own pace. Bending and lengthening out. We're going to bend our knees, placing our hands above our knees. And we're going to shift our shoulders from side to side. Creating a stretch in our upper back. And then just releasing forward into a forward fold. Our toes can now be pointed forward. We're just going to bend and straighten our knees in this wide leg forward fold. Releasing our neck, just letting go here. Maybe bringing our attention into our breath. We can also shift our hips from side to side, opening up through our inner thighs here. Releasing forward. Bending our knees as much as we need to. We're going to place our hands on our hips, bending our knees and coming up with a flat back. We're stepping towards the front of our mat, standing tall in our mountain pose. We're going to come into our quad stretch balance, reaching our hand towards our toes in the back, stretching through our quad muscles. With our opposite arm extended forward, we also have the option to lift up, coming into our dancer balance, lifting up our knee, or just staying in our quad stretch. Finding a steady point to help us balance here. Coming back into our quad stretch. Holding and lowering. Coming back into the mountain. And lifting up our opposite leg, stretching out our opposite quad muscle, lengthening one arm out in front of us, or maybe lifting it over our head. We're lifting up through our center to help us balance. And we also have the option to lift up our knee, coming into our dancer pose, finding our balance here. And our dancer balance. Or just staying in our quad stretch. And meeting back to our mountain pose. Reaching our hands above our head, we're bringing our hands back to heart center and standing tall in the mountain. Reaching our hands up, bending our knees, we swan dive down into our forward fold. Bending one knee at a time, we're stretching through the opposite calf muscle and hamstring. We're just releasing in the center. Maybe bending and straightening our knees in this forward fold. Interlacing our hands behind our back, we're coming into our chest opener. Still bending our knees as much as we need to feel comfortable here. Opening up through our chest. Releasing our hands back to the mat, stepping back with our right foot into a lunge. We're going to shift forward and back in this lunge. Releasing through our hip flexors and our quad muscles. Maybe feeling a lengthening of our calf muscle. Lowering our knee down to the mat, we're going to untuck our toes and we're going to shift back and forward. Moving through our lunge flows. we have the option to loop up our mat, creating some padding underneath our knee. We're stretching through our quad and hamstring when we come back, and our quad muscle when we're forward in our lunge. Making sure that when we come back, both our hip bones are pointed forward. Lowering down as much as we'd like to in this lunge. We're just shifting back and forth. Lengthening through our muscles. Really breathing into the stretch. We're flowing at our own pace. Lunging forward, shifting back. We're going to bring our leg back, unloop our mat, and just open up our knees, releasing into our child's pose. Letting the back of our neck just release. Maybe shifting our hips from side to side here. Lengthening through the sides of our hips. Just letting go. Rolling up, coming in our hero pose. Meeting our hands up above our head, looking to the sky, and then opening up. Meeting back in our on all fours, tucking our toes under. We lift up to our down dog. Releasing in our down dog. Bending our knees and straightening. Lifting our hips up to the sky. Maintaining our flat back. Bending our knees as much as we need to find that flat back. We're going to walk our feet to meet our hands at the front of our mat. Releasing forward. Looking up halfway and lowering. Bending through our knees, we're reaching our hands above our head and back to heart center. And standing tall in our mountain pose. Reaching our hands above our head, we bend our knees, swan dive forward, back to our forward fold. Releasing in the forward fold. Stepping back with our left foot into the lunge. We're going to shift back and forth. Shifting back and forth here. Opening up through our hip flexor and our quad muscles. Lowering our knee down to the mat, untucking our toes. We're going to shift back and forth, moving through our lunge flows. Shifting back and forth, moving at our own pace and lowering our hips down as much as we'd like to down towards the ground. Or maybe finding 2 yoga blocks to place underneath our hands, coming up a little bit higher. Whatever is within our practice in this present moment. And when we shift back, we're trying to square both our hip bones, pointing forward. Really breathing into the stretch. Shifting back and forth. We're going to move our leg around to the back, opening up our knees. We're releasing forward in our child's pose. Maybe shifting our hips from side to side here and just letting go. Maybe tuning our attention back into our breath. taking deep, cleansing inhales, and just releasing on our exhale. On our next exhale, we're going to walk our hands back up, meeting in our hero position, reaching our hands together above our head, looking to the sky, and then back to heart center. Coming back to our all fours, we tuck under our toes, lifting up our knees to our down dog, really allowing our muscles just to release here, creating length through our calf muscles and our hamstrings, lifting up our hips up to the sky, maybe finding a slight arch in our back or bending our knees as much as we need to feel comfortable here and maintain that flat back. And just holding in the center. Feeling the strength in our arms and the strength in our legs, holding us up. Walking our feet to meet our hands at the front of our mat, releasing forward in our forward fold. Looking up halfway with a flat back and lowering. Bending through our knees, we're going to swan dive up, meeting our hands together above our head and back to heart center. Standing tall in the mountain pose. Sitting back in our chair, we're going to make our way down towards our mat, extending our legs out in front of us in the staff position. Bending one leg in, meeting our foot to our inner thigh. We're going to lean forward with the flat back, taking 2 fingers, reaching around our big toe, or just reaching towards our foot with the flat back. We're creating length in our calf muscle and our hamstrings. Taking deep cleansing breaths here, and then allowing ourselves just to round forward, releasing into the stretch. Just letting go here. Maybe flexing our foot for more sensation. Walking our hands back on our next exhale. We're going to switch legs, bending our opposite leg in, placing our foot in our inner thigh, and we're going to release forward. Leaning forward first with a flat back, reaching 2 fingers around our big toe, or just reaching towards our foot. And then just rounding forward through our spine, releasing fully into the stretch, letting ourselves feel grounded on our mat. And connecting in with our breath. On our next exhale, we're going to walk our hands back out. We're going to shift our legs open, opening up into our straddle position. Being careful never to overstretch anything. We're going to reach over, stretching through our side body, reaching to one side, reaching our hand towards our foot, either pointing or flexing our feet here, reaching over to the side, and then reaching back up, reaching towards our opposite side, making sure that we're keeping both sit bones grounded onto our mat, reaching over to the side, feeling a lengthening of our inner thighs here, opening back up. We're going to walk our hands forward slowly and gently just release forward, maybe flexing our toes up to the sky. Maybe stacking our fists on top of each other, letting our forehead just to release on top of our top fist. Really breathing into the stretch, feeling our inner thighs opening up. On our next exhale, we're going to slowly walk our hands back, sitting up tall. Using our hands, we're going to help bring our legs back together, and we're going to cross one foot over top of the opposite knee, coming into our seated spinal twist. We're going to take our opposite arm and cross it across our knee. We're going to place our other arm behind our back, and we're going to look towards our back shoulder. Feeling a twisting sensation in our spine, really breathing into the twist, feeling an opening up of our side hip muscles. We're going to hug our knee into our chest here, and then we're going to switch, crossing the opposite foot, planting our foot on the mat, crossing over our opposite arm, cross our knee, placing our other hand behind our back, and looking towards our back shoulder and our seated spinal twist. And maybe just hugging our knee into our chest as we twist here. Opening up through our hip muscles. Meeting back in the center, hugging our knee into our chest. We're going to extend our legs out, placing our feet on the mat, and then rolling down through our spine. We're shifting our knees from side to side, releasing our lower back. Just letting them rock from side to side here. Meeting back in the center, we're going to extend one leg out, hugging our opposite knee into our chest, and finding some foot circles here. Circling our foot first in one direction, and then reversing the circles. We're going to hug our knee in, and then we're going to cross our knee across our chest for our laying spinal twist, extending our arms out in a T position and looking towards our back arm. We're really breathing into this twist, filling up our lungs, and then just releasing. Coming back to the center on our next exhale, hugging our knee into our chest, and then hugging our opposite knee into our chest. Finding some gentle foot circles, and then reversing the circles. Crossing our knee, across our body. We're coming into our spinal twist on the opposite side. Looking towards our back shoulder here. And breathing into the twist. Connecting in with our natural flow of our breath. Meeting back in the center on our next exhale, we're going to hug our knee into our chest and release down. Hugging our knees into our chest, touching our nose to our knee, we're going to rock up. Meeting back in our cross-leg seated position. Opening our arms up, meeting our palms above our head, and back to heart center. And together we say, Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today for this practice. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Thank you.